This is John for the Everyday Fan Sports. Tonight I have the pleasure of being on the beat with the amazing Amazon, Natasha Crane. How are you?
Good, great. I'm really glad you had me on. Because I've seen a lot of people be on here, and I'm like, well, when's my turn? I should have messaged you, but I get so
Well,
busy.
I probably just assumed you were very busy. I mean, you're all over the place.
I am.
You are. So we'll get to that now, or I'm sorry, we'll get to that later. Now, I'd like to start with how did you get started in wrestling?
Oh, this is back in early 2000s, with a company out of LaSalle, Illinois called Wicked Wrestling Alliance. And I was there with them for a few years. And then I had some health issues come up, and I took some time away from wrestling, and then I joined SCW in like 16 or 17, and I've been there ever since, and I love it's absolutely wonderful. Everyone there is great. I love them.
So, who were your like wrestling role models, either as a youngster or when you were getting into the business?
Oh, I always liked Luna Vachon and Sherry Martel. I don't know, it just something about it. They were like mean, but they were glittery. So I was like, I could do that. That's me. That's my persona, kind of.
Well, I can't argue with either of those choices. Excellent. I mean, two legends. Now,
Mhm.
when you were starting wrestling, you said you started, roughly 20 years ago or so. Um,
Yeah.
Women's wrestling has come, I think at least it's come a great distance since then. Since then, there's a lot more talented out there. Well, how do you see it changing over the last since you started your career?
Oh, there's a lot more there wasn't a whole lot of like women only wrestling, like women run, like from the talent to, like setup and production. And I think it's come a long way, from with that. And I'm really a lot of people that I've met said that they couldn't get into wrestling, you know earlier in their life. They're a little bit older than me, because they were looking for they're not that's what it wasn't what they were looking for then, I guess, to say. It has opened a lot of doors for a lot of people, and now there's most indie feds and like AEW and WWE have women's division, which I don't know if you could really consider back then a division, because you only had like a few
Right.
women. So I mean, like, really wasn't a division. But now there's like, like you see on AEW, they got the main show, and then they've got like the elevation and all that. And there's a lot of women on that, and a lot of women from the Chicago area have been on there. So, I think it's evolved. I think it's evolved pretty well.
And how would you describe your style in the ring?
Oh, definitely powerhouse. I like grabbing and throwing people.
No, have you? I'm pretty sure I've seen you wrestled in mixed gender tag teams. Have you ever
Mhm.
wrestled intergender matches? I'm having trouble speaking tonight. Excuse me. Intergender matches.
Um, I've had a few. And there are a couple of them up on my YouTube page. But I think in the right setting, in the right situation, I do like intergender matches. It gives more opportunity, for someone who might not be into, like, or might not have a like a women's tag team division. So if you had an intergender division, you can have like tag teams that kind of way.
And is there anybody, past or present, who would you like to have a match with?
Oh
Could be a
God,
male if you want.
like Beth Phoenix. I don't know. I've always kind of admired her. I just think she's really cool. And like the women that aren't afraid to hit the weights, like her and Rhea Ripley, you know, and even China when she was alive. It's just like for like women that don't mind um, working out and gaining muscle. Um, they're not afraid to embrace their masculine side, I guess.
So basically, women who actually like to wrestle and like to be,
Oh
you
God,
know,
yeah. I'm like, come on, man.
I again, I'm not just saying this to agree with you, but I do agree with you. So, what have you been up to lately? I know that SCW was involved in a little skirmish, shall we say, series of skirmishes with POW. So, what have you been
Yeah,
up to?
it's been like that for the past year, and some turns of events, and it seems to be like Pow is kind of working with us a little more. Hunter Payne and Jimmy Blaze are on the same page, which is really great for everybody because then we can have kind of like a cross promotion and everyone can, and it's just an extra place for everyone to work. Um, what I've been doing, like the past year, I've had the SCW Women's Championship, so that's kept me busy for pretty much all of last year. And that was a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time as champion.
Now, I know it's not your first title. How did it feel when you won your first title?
Um, you know what? I've in my long career, I've never really held any belts, so it felt good. I mean, it's just kind of like a recognition. The people see me and people care about me. And I like being in front of the fans, and I love wrestling in general. I've loved it since I was a child. So, it just felt like it was giving back to me, like all this blood, sweat, and tears that I put into it over the years.
And you've held it for nearly a year now?
Yeah, yeah, it was. I actually dropped it in December, so I had it all last year though.
Well, then where's the rematch? Where do you stand in the title chase?
Actually, what had happened is I had broke my hand like for real in a match last year in September, um, and I took January off to let this completely heal because I was still wrestling with it. Obviously, I can't. Something you can't like get out of your system. Like, um, so yeah, I let this completely heal, and it's about as good as it's gonna get. And so I haven't really had time to. Last month actually was my first match back for the year. And then we have a show not this weekend but next weekend. Um, and I'm not sure if I'm in there that quite yet. I could be. I will be in the arena, so you never know if you're going to see me.
Well, I'd say yeah, if you're in the arena and you're coming back, you never know. Now, and the question I have now, I know POW does not have a women's division, but they've got a woman there, Mistress Misery. I would love to see the two of you hook up.
I don't know. She's kind of scary with that kendo stick, but I think once you get rid of that, um, she's got Scott Spade and Tiny, and they're kind of big. I mean, I'm not afraid or anything, but I know when the odds are stacked against me. Maybe if I've had like a team behind me, maybe we could hook something up. That'd be fun.
Well, see, I'm not a matchmaker. I'm just a fan who sits there going, I see Natasha, I see Mistress Misery, and I just think that would be a phenomenal match. That'd be like, as Jim Ross would say, that would be a good
A
slobber
slobber
knocker.
knocker.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
it would be fun.
how long do you plan on wrestling?
You know what? With my injuries and whatnot, I've kind of taken a reduced schedule this year. So, like maybe next year, if my knees are better, the knees and the back. It's the first thing that goes when you're wrestling. Um, so I was thinking like maybe next year if I'm feeling okay, like going to more promotions and whatnot. But I've really just kind of carved a good home with SCW. And it's hard to leave those guys because they're just also great down there.
And how does it feel like when you're wrestling? Obviously, I know you're focused on the matches, but do you ever sit back kind of and like just soak it in and look at the fans and the reaction that you're getting?
Um, you kind of have to, because sometimes fans can do some funny things in the crowd, and you just got to take that in. I like I like to play with the crowd a little bit, kind of like, ask them, do we really have to do this? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, we can just go to the bar and hang out and no, kick his ass. And I'm like, all right, here we go. You gotta have a little fun with people because they're
Well,
they're there to watch you. So
sure. So when you're not wrestling, when you're not gearing to wrestle, when you're not injured, or even when you are injured, what do you like to do to kind of get away from everything?
I like to ride roller coasters.
Okay, what's your favorite?
Well, it's this coaster in North Carolina, and it's Fury, and it's 325 feet tall, and it is pure awesome. It's so great. If you like roller coasters, this is the one to ride.
And are there any roller coasters on your bucket list?
Actually, I'm going to Norway and Sweden in the summer, and
Really?
they're on yeah, on a roller coaster trip. This will be my second trip with this group, and the first one was great. It blew me away. It's like all like they're knowledgeable about like their parks and area and stuff. Yeah, and so it's my second time with the group, and I'm like, I so we got like a whole bunch of roller coasters over there that we're gonna ride.
I was gonna say, so what is it? No, what is? I love wrestling, but what is a roller coaster trip? Now you go there and it's like one amusement park or a bunch of amusement parks. Like
Um,
what's?
well, if it's like a week or if it's a week or so long trip, they'll go to like different ones. You'll spend like a day or two at each one. Um, and then before that, we're going to it's a coaster club called ACE, American Coaster Enthusiasts. And the week before we go to Sweden and Norway, we're going to be they're holding an event at Dollywood down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So there's going to be like 3 days of that, and then we'll travel over to Carowinds, which is in North Carolina, South Carolina, and that's where Fury is. Yeah, but you just they plan these trips, and they're like, "Hey, this is our itinerary. Do you want to do this? Send us money. Book your hotel, and you just go, and you meet a bunch of people there."
So how many roller coasters do you think you've ridden on in your lifetime then?
Oh God, I know I'm in the hundreds. My
Wow.
husband's about to hit 1,000. We're probably going to
Wow.
hit 1,000 this summer. Yeah, yeah.
Like you
So
keep
I
track of
mean,
that? Like you got a spreadsheet or something?
yeah, it's like called like roller coaster count or whatever, and it's this big spreadsheet. So and I think it divides it by parks. So you pick
Wow.
your park and you just click off all the yeah, and it'll tally them at the end of your session. It'll tally them.
Well, see, I'm learning all sorts of new stuff. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, before I let you go, and I really appreciate your time, tell everybody where they could find you online. Tell everybody where they could find you in person. It's all yours now.
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's AMZG underscore Amazon. You'll see my wonderful face. My YouTube, I think if you just search for the amazing Amazon Natasha Crane, I think I'm on there. I'm not very high up on the views or whatever, so I'm not gonna. You might have to look. You might have to search a little bit. And on Facebook, it's under the same the amazing Amazon Natasha Crane. Um, I think that's it. I think that's all I have right now.
Well, that
Could
works.
it could change, but
That's where I found you, and you responded, and I appreciate that. I haven't seen you yet wrestle in person. It is on my goal list for this summer, though, to come out and actually see you wrestle. So I will be looking to
okay.
see when you get back in the ring. And I really, I'm still hoping for that Mistress Misery match. But until
Oh,
then,
that'd be fun.
Jimmy Blaze, if you're listening, and I know you are because you always listen, you got to get this match going. Natasha, really, man, I really appreciate your time. I'm so glad that the whole roller coaster thing was another whole direction that I didn't even anticipate. That was a lot of fun. So I thank you for your time, and I will see you at some point this summer, hopefully.
All right, I'll see you later. Thanks for
Thanks.
having me.
Take care.
And bye.